Hi, at this point you'd have figured out that you have a white belt in the skill of capturing. So what does it mean to have a white belt? Well, unfortunately, it's the lowest of the belts that we award here in the two-time system. So it's lower than a yellow, orange, and green belt. At the same time, you're in good company, because actually most people who do the analysis that you just did on the skill of capturing end up with a white belt. That's actually true across the board, but especially true of capturing. So you're in good company. So there's no reason to feel as if something's wrong or something's bad. All it means is that you've been using a lot of memory to get by and to record the things that you need to do on a daily basis. Now, the reason that most of us are white belts, or we start off that way, especially when we enter the workforce, is that we've been specifically trained to use our memory. So from the time that you entered school, maybe when you were 5, 6 years old, you were taught from then until the time that you graduated from university that using your memory was a good way to use your mind. So you learned to record, study, regurgitate, take exams. It was a whole series of using your memory to memorize and to be able to reproduce valuable data. Unfortunately, memory is a poor tool to use when it comes to recording time demands, because time demands aren't the same as learning, for example, the rules of algebra. Time demands come and go, and using valuable memory isn't a good idea, isn't a good way to a good method to use to record time demands, partly because they're so transitory. Also, the truth is, the older you get, and I'm sort of in my 40s here, and I can tell you that your memory fades. I hate to tell you, but you lose some of the capability that you had when you were 20. You're not quite as sharp when it comes to recalling facts, figures, and time demands. So the skill of trying to remember time demands doesn't scale up very well. In fact, it gets worse as you go along. And chances are, when you enter the workforce as a 20-something-year-old, you probably started off with a very low number of time demands that were coming at you. It probably increased rapidly as you maybe got your first promotion, got that big project, had people reporting to you for the first time, had a child, got married, and so on and so forth. The number of time demands of an adult far exceed that of a 15 or 16-year-old who just has to remember that they have some math homework, some English homework, and some Spanish homework to complete for the next day. So memory is the challenge that we all have. And if you're listening to this video, the chances are good that you've already come up with some ways to replace the use of memory as a way of recording time demands. Chances are good you already are doing some capturing without using your memory. Well, what are some of the things that white belts typically do to move to the next level, if that's something that you're interested in? By the way, not everyone needs to move from one level to the next. If you're white, you don't have to go to yellow. Yellow, you don't have to go to orange. Orange, you don't have to go to green. But if you are interested in moving up, there's 3 promises that I find that people make to themselves typically to move from white to yellow. The first is to capture everything and to never use their memory. So they start to white belts move up to yellow once they've made the commitment or a promise to themselves that I'm not going to use my memory anymore. I'm going to capture everything, either in a pad, some paper, or digital voice recorder, a PDA, iPad, whatever it might be. That's the first promise. And that has to do with manually capturing time demands that sort of are generated or come into our memory. I also mentioned in the questions, you noticed there were automatic time demands that sort of come at you whether you want them to come at you or not. That includes mail that comes to your mailbox, physical mail, email, voicemail that gets left on your phone, messages that come to you on Facebook. You don't request these time demands, but they all get sent to you anyway. Bills in the mail, taxes. Ugh. Well, problem with having multiple points of capture is that you end up having to manage too many. So lots of white belts, for example, end up with multiple email inboxes. And white belt, you often hear them say things like, oh, what happened to that email that you promised me? And then you might say, but I sent it to you. I sent it to your name at yahoo.com. And they said to you, oh, Yahoo. I don't use that email address anymore. I'm over at Gmail now. So resend it to my Gmail account. Well, oftentimes, white belts have multiple email inboxes that aren't consolidated. They have multiple voicemail boxes that aren't consolidated. And luckily for us, there's more and more technology that's coming out that's allowing us to put together email inboxes, voicemail inboxes, even scanning of letters and then being sent to an inbox is actually now a reality. Some companies will do that for you. But anyway, a white belt has the problem of having too many and hasn't even yet realized necessarily that they have a problem. Once they have a problem, then they can move to a yellow belt. And then the third promise is a pretty simple one. That's to carry the capture point that they decide to use, which could be a paper pad, like I said, or a PDA, or an iPad, or a digital voice recorder, to carry it with them all the time. So in order to not use memory, you've got to have something with you at all times, because you never know, the meeting that you go into might not have any extra paper, and then you'll be left having to use memory. White belts have just made the promise to not use memory. When they make the promise, they then are able to move up to become yellow belts. So if you're interested in moving up, there's the MyTime Design programs that I offer. There's other programs also that exist. MyTimeDesign.com. You can find out when the next program is, or sign up to be on the waiting list if we don't have any open at the moment. Take care, and I'll see you later. All the best. Bye-bye.